now? I'm waiting for it. Get it, Kyle.
Also.
There once was a place called the Barren Land Bridge. It was as cold as my mama's fridge. There were some people that didn't want to cross it, but the Paleo Indians went and bossed it. Now we will talk about some native cultures. These people here, well, they live with the vultures. They went by the name of AmI4It, and they were afraid of kamikazes. So they built their houses up really tall. And with that said, you hope they wouldn't fall. Wait, okay. Wait, hold on. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, Will.
Now in Africa, there was a lot of trading. Man, oh man, it wasn't fading. Many trade routes were run by Berbers, but not after long. Kingdoms caught on to this. So Mansa Musa, the leader of Mali, tried it, and man, it was wally. He and others made so much money that it wasn't funny. Now we will give a peek about some philosophers of Greek. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle all came up with one form of government.
Woo!
In Europe, people were curious, so they sent the most furious, which were the Vikings. A Viking leader named Ferguson was blown off course and ended up here with a lot of fear. Because of attacks from native tribes, they couldn't thrive, so they went bye-bye. Now there was a man named Christopher Columbus who wanted to sail the deep blue sea. He tried and to convince the king until he finally agreed. So he went off west, and man, this was a test. It was a month in uncharted sea until he found some sand, but it turned out to be new land. Spanish heard about the discovery of, so they had their own rediscovery. Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortez sailed up north with his crew set forth. He looked for a king named Moctezuma, who ruled a wealthy land that sure wasn't bland. Cortez found and killed the king, and his journey was finally fulfilled. Meanwhile, in Europe, people weren't so happy. Protestants were protesting about how the church should be ran. This is really hard to read. But they made a poor choice and said it's over and done. Now the Protestants set sail to North America to be free finally. Now that many people lived in the Americas, they needed a workforce. So they, hold up. Okay, that was easy and cheap. So they decided to buy slaves because they were immune to many diseases.
Okay.
It's so hard to read his handwriting.
It's not hard to read.
There it is.
A place called Jamestown was the first settlement that the English had. Man, it made them glad, but a lack of preparation costed many lives. Over 2/3 of the people died. Not after long, Dutch founded a new colony, led by a name named Peter. He was a Peter. William Penn, who was a Quaker, not a baker, wanted to make a place for others like him. So he got a charter which gave him new land, and man, oh man, it was so ever bland. All of a sudden, Britain raised taxes. It made colonists madder, surely not gladder. Shortly after war began. The
first Continental Congress met together and wrote with a feather. They came up with some basic rights and sent them off to Britain, but it took many nights. But of course they refused. People weren't enthused. Thomas Paine decided to spread the word, so he wrote the common sense in a defense. Second Continental Congress met up again and wrote the Declaration of Independence and sent it off again. But of course they wouldn't amend it. Now, they tried to make peace, so they made an army and decided to unleash battles after battles that just took place. They overpowered England face to face.
That's it.
We finally got
That's it.